The government's the parent in this situation, and they're taking care of their children in a way. They have not only these miners, but a whole country and the whole psyche of Chile behind them. You know, because you have this mining industry here that's very much a cornerstone of the income, the economy of that country. They have to make sure that the psyche of their miners is healthy, but also how the whole country moves through this, which was why it was so important to execute this.
What is this whole double Dutch thing about?
Well, the issue of conflict with kids is often parents really don't know when to jump in sometimes, and it's kind of like jumping rope. You know, you jump in too early, you get whacked in the head, you jump in too late, and it can cause some serious consequences.
All right, so you say work smarter, not harder.
Right. The idea of that is a lot of times parents work really hard to parent, and what you have to think about is your job is to work yourself out of a job, you know, to become obsolete. To do that, you want to give your kids the skills to prepare them for the rest of their life. I feel like our society is a victim to Dr. Spock or to parents or to all these things, and we have to look at it, you know, we're all responsible. The issue is if I can play the victim, I didn't do anything wrong, and if I didn't do anything wrong, I'm off the hook. So there's no blame, no shame, no guilt, no failure, no responsibility.
In general, do children, are they resilient when it comes to tragedy, or are they more sensitive? Do they take it harder? How do you help children in general cope with loss?
Well, personally, when I was 8, my brother died tragically, and he was an older brother, and that was very difficult for me. And what I was able to do with it was I turned it into life happens for me, not to me. And that's a critical word, for versus to, because things that happen in our life we can see as opportunities to grow and learn, or they can bury us and we can get buried underneath them. So I think, again, it's partly that individual's temperament, their support system again, and how he's going to look at this with how the people around him.
Licensed psychologist, author, media consultant, and public speaker Erik Fisher, aka Dr. E, has helped thousands develop healthy life perspectives and relationships. His innovative theories and therapies set the standard for cutting-edge and efficient healing. Dr. E has become the go-to resource for major television, radio, and print outlets. Now he's bringing his therapy to real life with a daily dose of treatment. Hey, America!
Hey, America!
Hey, America, are you ready for Dr. E?
Because in a lot of ways, your relationship isn't in balance. And that's why you have some of the issues you do. So realize your issue was to get him where he needed to get him to love at the top, while maybe missing some of the cornerstones or some of the issues that you really want to address in your relationship, you know. But realize she was a lot more decisive in what she did and quick to make decisions. So in that relationship, or in your relationship, to realize she might want action quicker, you have to, though, be patient and give them the time to work things through. I don't look at people as a diagnosis. I look at them as they've come to me with something. That's their painting that they've created in life. And it's my job to help them to interpret that painting. Not on what's wrong with it, but often what's right. I always teach people that there's 7 primary protective emotions: anger, rage, arrogance, flippancy, defiance, sarcasm, and hatred. Those emotions are always, always protective. Therefore, they always come second. They never come first. Emotions that come first would be emotions like sadness or fear or shame, things that feel weak or bad or wrong in our culture. I started to see that the more I reached people where they were at, the better results I got. So I'll do things from rollerblading or throwing a football or going for a walk down the street. You know, I once had somebody who got to a corner and they said, "Which way are we going?" I said, "This is your choice, because if you can't pick the way you want to go in your life, how are you going to succeed and feel successful?" I don't want people to look back at me one day and say, "Gee, Doc, thanks for what you did for me." I want them to be able to say, "Look at what I did for myself, and thanks for your help."
As a psychologist, what's your concern?
You know, there's always going to be a segment of society that's going to engage in risky behaviors. When you open it up to society to see, though, it endorses it, it makes it okay, it gives people who might not have had those ideas some of those ideas, and then it to me, it sends the message that this is okay and this is acceptable, which is very disruptive. When I do this talk with families, with kids as young as 2 and 3 and 4, I say, "Which circle would you want to be if you could be any circle?" They go, "I want to be the big one." And right there I say to the parents, I say, "Now you understand why there's an issue." The problem is we enculturate that totally. We live in a winner-take-all culture. We live in a culture where you're not supposed to show weakness. So even in that culture, I talk about 4 dichotomies: good and bad, right and wrong, strong and weak, and the ultimate one being win and lose. Bullies want to look strong. They don't care about looking
It's not about finding the moment in therapy. Life's about finding therapy in the moment. It's not in our offices, it's not on our couches, and it's not on our books. It's in each person's soul, and it's the uniqueness of each person's soul that I want to reach.